Imagine standing at the very top of the world, everything you ever dreamed of at your fingertips: money, fame, power, respect, but knowing deep inside that everything can vanish in a heartbeat. That's exactly where Mike Tyson was before the moment that would change his life forever. One night, one decision, one misstep would send the youngest heavyweight champion in history hurtling from unimaginable success into a personal and public nightmare that would haunt him for decades. Tyson had it all. Millions of dollars stacked high, a life that most could only fantasize about, and the respect of fans around the globe. He was feared in the ring, worshipped outside of it, and considered untouchable. But beneath the bravado, the knockouts, and the championship belts, there was a vulnerable young man, scarred by a rough childhood in Brownsville, Brooklyn, and driven by a need to prove himself every single day. That vulnerability, that hunger, would ultimately play a central role in the moment that shattered everything. The turning point didn't come from an opponent in the ring, nor a rival boxer. It came from a decision, a night, and a series of choices that spiraled out of control. One fateful evening, Tyson's life would pivot from control to chaos. He walked a line between reckless freedom and impending disaster, blind to the consequences that would follow. Every party, every indulgence, every lapse in judgment compounded the tension until it reached a breaking point. And then it happened. The instant, the flash, the moment that no amount of fame or money could undo. What happened that night wasn't just a mistake. It was a fracture that ripped apart his personal world. Betrayals, heartbreak, and legal consequences piled on top of one another like a storm tearing through a house. Friends turned into strangers, loyalty dissolved into suspicion, and the world that had once cheered for him now scrutinized him, judged him, and condemned him. Tyson went from invincible to vulnerable, from adored to questioned, in a way that few could ever comprehend. But what's even more shocking is how quickly it happened. One misstep, one action that seemed minor at the moment, triggered a cascade of consequences that no amount of money, fame, or power could reverse. The arena of public opinion can be unforgiving, and Tyson learned that even the strongest can crumble when the spotlight turns harsh. The people he trusted, the decisions he made in the heat of the moment, they all contributed to a downfall that seemed almost cinematic in its intensity. The financial collapse came fast. Millions evaporated in legal fees, settlements, and bad advice. A lavish lifestyle that once seemed untouchable became a heavy weight of responsibility, scrutiny, and regret. But it wasn't just money. It was the trust broken, the friendships destroyed, the family tensions that deepened, and the solitude that crept in like a shadow. Even surrounded by wealth and fame, Tyson felt alone, trapped by the consequences of one fateful choice that could never be erased. And then came prison, the ultimate symbol of loss of control. For a man whose life had always been about power, strength, and fearlessness, incarceration was a crushing blow. Behind those walls, Tyson faced the reality that no belt, no fortune, no fan adoration could protect him from the consequences of his actions. Every moment in confinement was a reminder of how fragile a life of glory can be, how swiftly the world can turn against you, and how one single point of failure can undo everything you've worked for. The emotional impact was just as devastating. Tyson's personal life unraveled. Relationships that had once offered stability and love were strained or destroyed. Betrayal, heartbreak, and public humiliation combined to create a sense of isolation that he had never known before. He realized that fame and fortune, while intoxicating, were powerless against the weight of guilt, regret, and the irreversible decisions he had made. What makes this story even more profound is Tyson's reflection on that moment. In interviews, in rare glimpses of vulnerability, he admits that he knew, deep down, he had crossed a line that couldn't be uncrossed. He understood the cost, the devastation, and the permanent impact on his life. And yet, the decisions that led him there weren't entirely irrational, they were human. Fear, impulsivity, desire, and the remnants of a troubled childhood combined to create a perfect storm of disaster. This moment wasn't just about legal trouble or financial loss, it was about the loss of identity. Tyson had always defined himself by strength, dominance, and invincibility. When that image shattered, he was forced to confront who he really was beneath the gloves and the gold chains. Vulnerable, fragile, human. And facing that truth is far more terrifying than any opponent he ever faced in the ring. Yet, in the darkness of that downfall, there is a lesson. A cautionary tale for anyone who believes that success shields them from consequence. The story of Tyson's collapse reminds us that no one is immune to the repercussions of their choices. One moment, one decision, one night, it can all unravel, and often when you least expect it. Tyson's journey after that fateful moment was a long climb back, filled with regret, reflection, and redemption. He faced his past, confronted his mistakes, and worked to rebuild his life piece by piece. While he never fully escapes the shadow of that night, he has shared his story with honesty and vulnerability, offering a glimpse into the cost of choices, the fragility of fame, and the resilience required to survive when the world seems to have turned against you. The moment Mike Tyson's life was destroyed forever is more than just a headline or a scandal. It's a human story about the fragility of success, the consequences of impulsive decisions, and the way a single point in time can alter a life irrevocably. It's about how the strongest, most feared, and seemingly untouchable individuals can face moments that change everything, teaching us all that life's victories and downfalls are closer than we think. Even today, Tyson's story resonates because it's relatable on a human level. Everyone has decisions they regret, moments they wish they could undo, or points in life where they felt the weight of irreversible mistakes. Tyson's life magnifies these experiences under the global spotlight, but the essence is universal. One moment, one choice, one misstep can reshape everything you thought you knew about your life. Ultimately, the tragedy behind Tyson's fall is a reminder that no amount of glory, money, or power can shield us from the consequences of our actions. That moment, that turning point, forever altered the trajectory of his life, but it also shaped the man he would become. The lessons of regret, reflection, and resilience are woven into the narrative of his life, reminding us all that even in the aftermath of destruction, growth and understanding are still possible. Mike Tyson's story is a testament to human vulnerability, the peril of impulsive decisions, and the harsh reality that life can change in a single night. It's a story of triumph and tragedy intertwined, showing us that the price of a single moment can be immeasurable, but the fight to rebuild, to reflect, and to move forward is what defines true strength.